Punch the Timeline.
You're listening to Punch the Timeline with Post-Crisis Jarrod, Scumbag XX, and Dr. Devin. Hello, everyone. We're back with Punch the Timeline. It's Post-Crisis Jarrod. Is there a doctor in the house?
There is a doctor in the house.
Dr. Devin is here.
And he said that Trent's dead.
Trent is under the weather, so we are talking Batman and the Outsiders. We did the first 6 last time. We're going to do the next 6 this time because I left it on a cliffhanger because 6 issues usually is a storyline, but this time, no, Batman and the Outsiders were frozen by that bastard Cryonic Man. So we're picking back up.
Except for one character, which I didn't catch the first time.
Katana?
Katana was not frozen with the rest of the group.
Oh, that for a reason. Because he wants to harvest her organs.
Yeah. This is a fucking wake up in a bathtub full of ice situation.
Yeah.
except she wouldn't be waking up.
No. And then like these random thugs are like, hey, let's break them out of this. They're frozen solid, and they're like trying to break away at the ice, and it's like we're going to kill them.
Yeah, he fucked up Batman's cloak because of that. Like
that bastard. Shit. So we learned,
you know how much that shit costs?
Bruce has got the money. So we learned that Cryonic Man needs Katana's organs because his wife is dying, and they still think that it's the 50s.
And they were put in there in 1947 in preparation for what they believed was going to be a nuclear fallout.
Yeah, this is some dark shit. And he wakes up before them and is just like, well, I'll keep them under for a little bit.
Also, can we talk about the fact that Katana actually just straight up roundhouse kicks a fucking robot and her foot isn't broken?
That's some discipline right there. She's taking out those... She takes out those robots. She's prepped and ready for surgery and tied up, and she breaks free. And so it's like picture a futuristic laboratory with automated robots, and that's why Cryonic Man has Katana, and he's ready to harvest her organs for his sleeping wife. And Katana comes to and breaks out for a moment and starts.
It's like a perfect description of like 80s robots too.
Yeah, just beating some robot ass until she gets caught. Another thing that really stood out to me in this issue is there's no Commissioner Gordon.
That was my thought too.
There's a Lieutenant Freeman. Lieutenant Freeman is in the book quite a bit in these next few issues, and I'm wondering if the Batman editors were like, you can't have Gordon.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering too. I was like, I don't know if something happened like in a different comic that I'm not aware of, or if they're just like, no, you can't have him, here's this new guy.
Well, they're like, oh, well, Gordon's recovering from a stroke, but you never, I realized you never see Gordon in Batman and the Outsiders. So we get Lieutenant Freeman. He's our composite character. He's Commissioner Gordon and several other cops in one. But luckily, those Outsiders figure out how to get out of that thanks to Halo. They unfreeze.
And the only way they find Katana is through the use of her sword, which talks.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to come back to that a lot. Katana's sword has been talking to her the whole series, but she doesn't tell anyone. And anytime anybody asks her anything about herself or her sword, she's like, don't worry about it. I said... it's fine.
It's never fine.
It's never fine. When a woman says things are fine, it's not fine. Also, Batman snapping out of it. Like, the doctor's like, Jesus Christ, we need a resuscitator. And Batman's like, no, I'm good.
No, it wasn't until, like, he was fine with the resuscitating. And then he's like, we have to take his mask off. I was like, whoa, hold on there, bud.
Yeah, time out. I'm alive now. Just kidding. Again, the art is amazing. Jim Apato's Batman is just...
It's beautiful.
Italian hand pose. So I feel like Halo's powers are just like whatever they feel like doing that day.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a giant, fuck it, she's got this one.
Yeah, this aura does this, and this aura can sense this, and I don't know.
It's like a weird, like, pseudo version of a Green Lantern ring.
It's just like, well, this aura does this, and this aura does this, and It's like they keep coming up with different auras just to further the story along.
She has a heat aura. She has a stasis aura. She has a displacement aura.
That one they use a lot. A really funny phrase that I read. Good old Lieutenant Freeman referring to the Outsiders as greener than a new dollar bill. Listen here, see? These kids is greener than a new dollar bill.
Ah. We can't do that too much, though. He's not a gangster, but...
I don't know. With that pencil mustache, smoking a cigarette, in his raincoat.
Potential twist later on.
I don't know, man. There's no telling with this book. So anyway, thanks to good old Halo, they find Katana just about to get operated on. And Metamorpho turns into a drill.
Yep.
Not just any drill. It's like a tank with a drill on the end of it. With a creepy Metamorpho face sticking out on it.
It's a design.
There's a lot of things
works.
there's a lot of things in this book where they're just like, fuck it. We don't have to justify this. Metamorpho can turn into a drill.
There's one that I'm going to bring up later that I feel like we have to talk about, and it's there's going to be a perverted joke that goes along with it, but I can't help it.
My notes just say Metamorpho the drill.
The fucking face drill.
It's like there's always like whenever Metamorpho isn't taking the shape of something else, you just see like this much of him like
pretty much some doofy ass face.
I hate Metamorpho, by the way. There's nothing about him that I like.
He's I mean, he's not the worst character that I've ever met.
That you've ever met, but out of these people in this book, who could they lose the easiest?
Oh, him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, there's been way more character development this far with every other character.
And he's just like, wish I was normal. And then he takes his human face off every now and then.
I don't like the human face.
It just peels off.
Yeah.
Here's a panel of him just floating like it's his head and he's a gas or something and he's just floating.
Yeah, that's I want to make note, I don't actually understand that one at all based on physics. Like, yes, it's gas and gas floats, but you don't really control where it goes, and it's not like he's a fucking jet.
There's a lot of science to ignore here because Black Lightning is just like, hey, these people have some sort of electrical field holding them together. Hold on, I'll use my electric powers to talk to them telepathically.
Yeah, I always try and put physics in comics. I'm like, why the fuck am I putting physics in comics? That's literally the number. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
you'll literally drive yourself into insanity.
You will. So Black Lightning talks to the people that are still in their cryonic state, and we get to hear his origin, where he is the assistant to his professor who put them in their sleep chambers, thinking they'd wake up whenever the nuclear holocaust was over. And then things get really weird.
That's like Cryonic Man, now known as Philip, was supposed to wake up at intervals and check on him. And he did that, and then he's like, oh, my wife's dying, so I'm just gonna keep him in here until I find a way to fix it. And then they're like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, they just all of a sudden decide to shock him. They all merge minds and kill him.
Yeah, they all are just like, well, this isn't what we want, and you didn't give us a choice, so we're gonna fucking kill you, and then we're gonna officially die.
And then Batman's just like, let's go home.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And we're moving on to issue 8.
Which had a pretty fucking cool character in it that I haven't seen in a while, which is the Phantom Stranger.
This is a Christmas story featuring the Phantom Stranger,
who is a dope-ass character.
He's a dope-ass character, but this is a weird-ass story.
This is an extremely weird-ass story.
My notes say evil baby. And it names the person, and then at the bottom it says evil babies. Let's explain.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's everyone who's hearing that now is like,
evil baby.
Are you talking about the fucking poltergeist or some shit?
Evil babies, because it starts off with a kid kidnapped, and the creepy part is like this woman's baby is kidnapped, and she's talking to Lieutenant Freeman, and he's like, "Hey, don't worry, I've got Batman here." If your kid has just been kidnapped, are you going to trust some random vigilante who hides in the shadows until he's summoned to speak to you?
I was about to say, also, it only seems like Batman shows up in the really, really bad situations, so I feel like I wouldn't want to see him there. It's like, oh, if my kid's missing and Batman's here, that's a bad set of circumstances.
That means,
yeah, it already was.
Your kid not only is like kidnapped, but there are probably evil babies involved.
Yeah, evil babies. It's a common Tuesday occurrence in Gotham.
Apparently so. Also, so they know about the evil babies, but they're also doing some training, and this is all taking place at Bruce Wayne's penthouse. There's like geoforces like they're like training against each other. So there's blasts and there's violence and everything. Like, can you imagine living above or below the outsiders? And it's
just like yeah, anybody who lives beneath them is just like, Jesus Christ, I want to make a complaint, but who the fuck's gonna listen? It's Bruce Wayne above me.
The outsiders are training again.
But they don't know that.
They don't know that. But not all the outsiders are training, because
Where is Black Lightning?
Where is Black Lightning in our B plot? That'll lead on to the next few issues. He is in the cemetery, and we're finally going to address the death that happened that made him stop being Black Lightning until he met up with these outsiders.
The death of Trina Shelton.
And so while he is doing that, things get weird. Weird. You know, it's hard to explain this plot without reading the entire book. So I'm just going to say there are babies, there are old people, there are confused old people. There's the Phantom Stranger telling Batman, like, what you're thinking is what you should be thinking. And Batman's like, something's fucky is going on.
And also, in the theme of everybody's kind of down and out in the Christmas season, Halo feels lonely because she doesn't know her family. Katana's family's dead. Rex tries to call this woman Sapphire that we still don't know who she is, and her dad's like, fuck off. Brion's trying to call Markovia, and the lines have been busy, so he can't even talk to his own brother.
So yeah, everybody's down and out, and then there are evil babies.
Evil babies. And confused old people. Like, more confused than old people usually are.
Okay, so at the very beginning of the issue, the neighbors of the woman whose kid was kidnapped see what's going on, and they go to inquire with the police what's going on. The woman is pregnant. By the middle of this issue, she's giving birth, and Geoforce has to fly them to the hospital. I love explaining this really quickly because it sounds so bizarre, and it's going to make people read Batman and the Outsiders number 8 from 1984.
And then the mysterious stranger randomly shows up in a world of pops and fuzzles.
The kid comes out. Okay, so the doctor is holding the child by the feet upside down. And the kid's eyes start glowing, and he has this like look. And then you have this panel, which I'm gonna put this on Instagram. It's an upside down naked baby. So you see a naked baby's ass. And it's speaking to the doctor.
Just zapping the fuck out of him. And then the next panel is a fucking floating baby that looks like it's taking a massive shit.
And then he turns into a villain. Tanarak with his evil goatee. He's not a naked baby anymore. He's got looks like a tux and a cape.
Yeah, it's a pretty swanky tuxedo there.
What the fuck were they smoking when they wrote this issue?
They were celebrating the Christmas season. a little too well.
This is just the shenanigans in this Christ, in this comic are just hilarious because it's like left field stuff. Like they're like, hey, outsiders assemble. Let's go get this case solved. And some dude comes running by and they're like, where you going, fella? And he rips his face off and it's Batman. Dressed as an orderly or a doctor or something. I can't explain this enough for you to comprehend. Evil babies, Phantom Stranger, evil more babies. There are babies everywhere, and they have to fight babies at the hospital.
They have to fight babies. And Katana literally goes, I'm going to make them all distracted by swinging my sword around to make shiny.
And then, of course, Metamorpho makes a cage, and you know it's Metamorpho because the cage is smiling. I know we keep saying that this book is great, but there are moments where it's like, what the actual fuck is going on here?
It's so good.
It's so good. It's just like one of those, like, you have to read it to understand because, you know, we could do a deep dive, but we'd have to act out this entire issue for you to understand.
And then the best part, the mysterious stranger zaps good old, whatever the fuck his name is, Tanarak, kills him. The woman's upset because that was still her baby. Then suddenly she's pregnant again and
she has to give birth again. Yeah.
And the doctor's like, I could have sworn there was only one.
Moving on. We're just going to move on. Like evil babies.
2 pregnancies in less than 12 minutes.
Oh my God. Is this the right issue? Oh no, that's the annual. The annual pops up.
Oh, okay. For me, it went number 8, and then the annual popped up.
I read the annual. We'll come back to that at another time, but I read it, and I was like, this is out of sequence because they're talking Judas Contract, and they are talking about things that haven't happened yet.
Oh, wait, no, it is on the annual. Motherfucker.
Number 9.
There we go.
Here come the Masters of Disaster, featuring a solo Halo story. So Halo gets her own backup story. Though that tells you that Halo must be pretty damn popular.
I mean, she's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed 16-year-old girl.
How much Marvel have you read?
It's predominantly Hawkeye and some Spider-Man.
Okay. I'm wondering if Halo is DC's answer to Dazzler from X-Men.
Funnily enough, Emily and I were just talking about that because that's one of Emily's favorite Marvel characters.
All right.
And I could actually see that. When did Dazzler come out? When did they make their debut?
Let me look it up.
Let's do a Google. Maybe we can make a connection here.
Dazzler, Marvel Comics.
Because this was Halo's introduction to the series, 1983. I think this is the last. I think she was only in this series too. I don't think she was in anymore.
Dazzler's first appearance was in February of '80.
Ooh.
Dazzler is a mutant with the ability to convert sound vibrations into light and energy beams. Maybe.
It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's possible.
It's a blonde with light-based powers. I don't know.
I guess.
Something to think about. I'm sure I'm wrong.
But Dr. Light was already in here too.
Yo no say. Number 9.
Yeah, there we go.
Masters of Disaster with Black Lightning hanging out in the slums.
Yeah, well, now we're starting to really, these next few things, we really started delving more into individual characters more. So now we're getting a lot more Black Lightning.
And it's a little more my speed because it's more of like a street level story.
Yeah.
So it's not like we must go to Markovia and save the prince and gather together. And this is just like, hey, some assholes have come to take out Black Lightning, but why?
Dun, dun, dun.
The Masters of Disaster, Cold Snap, Shakedown, Windfall, Heatstroke, and New Wave. They are gathered up and they are taking out organized crime bosses just to find Black Lightning.
I like how they had to make every single one of their names work into a pun.
To introduce themselves, yeah.
Yeah, they all consecutively had to leave the room.
Meanwhile, what is that? Meanwhile,
at whatever fucking Gotham Community College?
I don't know, because he's going to grad school. He wants to be like Dr. Devin. Geoforce is going to...
But it says Gotham Community College. I can read the sign.
Well...
What community college has a grad program?
You don't say. So we're just kind of getting a slice of everybody's life because Geoforce is registering for grad school. Katana is successfully running her Japanese bookstore that she didn't seem like she wanted to open before. Here comes Creepy Rex in his human suit.
In his human suit, yeah.
And here's our subplot. There's a mysterious stranger, and he was flying from Tokyo to Gotham.
Who mysteriously has the same last name as Katana.
What better way to further the story here than have scumbag Bruce Wayne not giving a shit about the new housing project that's opening, and more.
He just wants the champagne and the caviar.
There's some shit in here where it's like,
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know why they really, in this comic especially, they made Bruce Wayne a real piece of shit.
Yeah, it's like
in other iterations, it's like he was still like a nice guy. He was just like, oh, fighting, I don't know how to do that, and would run away.
In this one, he's like, I don't give a shit about the projects. I'm just here for the party.
Yeah, I party all the time. Come on, girl that I'm totally having sex with.
And so there's some shit goes down, and then all the outsiders. Bruce has to mysteriously disappear and turn into Batman, and here come the outsiders to battle the Masters of Disaster. And one thing that really caught my eye, in not a good way.
Oh no.
Yeah. Cold Snap. The name he calls Black Lightning.
Wait, did I miss something?
Page 13, panel 5.
Page 13. Oh.
I don't even want to say it. It's not It's not the N-word like you're thinking, but it's not a nice thing to call a black man.
It's something that if you said that to somebody of African American descent, you would probably get punched square in your nuts. And you would deserve it.
It seems like, let me look at my notes. There's like another one where I'm like, whoa. Oh, in the next issue, like one of the Japanese people calls him Dark One.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sign of the times, you know.
Yeah, but man, that's... I see. Maybe I remember reading that now, and I think I just made it flip out of my mind.
I just paused and then I wrote it down. It's like when I'm reading.
I have to.
When I was reading Deathstroke, I'm like, whoa! Like, who the fuck is writing this? I'm like, okay, like we covered in that episode. Like, there's no way a white man could say these things. So this issue ends with Bruce just Black Lightning is. They're just like, we want Black Lightning, or we're gonna kill everybody. And Batman's like, all right,
okay,
see ya.
And Black Lightning's like, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the funniest part about this Halo story, so that's the end of the 9th issue. So the Halo story is her talking to the reader about her day and what she did in school. Now, I forgot to mention that when they were assembling to go fight the Masters of Disaster, Katana is like, Halo, we gotta go. And she's like, who are you talking to in there? And she's like, nobody. And then you go back to this little backstory, and it's not even worth mentioning this backstory, but it's just funny that she's like, there's a callback. She's like, hey, we gotta go. Who are you talking to? And she's like, nobody. And then she looks at the panel at the reader. She's like, see you later. This is the end.
Yeah, I feel like this was definitely just a fan service little thing.
Yeah.
And it was, I definitely feel like in these particular pages, she looked a little bit more detailed than she did in the rest of the comic.
This is not Jim Aparo doing the art in the backup story.
Yeah, so this is definitely a fan service thing.
Speaking of Jim Aparo not doing art, there is a guest artist on issue number 10, which starts with Batman and Geo-Force going at it because of the fact that Batman just gave Black Lightning up.
It's not Jim Aparo, but it's not bad.
It's not bad, but I mean, I'll take Jim Aparo over. You can tell when there's a guest artist.
Yeah, Jim Aparo has a very specific styling that you get very... God damn. I didn't notice that one. Metamorpho's face. Page 3, second panel. Is horrifying.
Oh, shit. Ugh. Guest artist. So we find out that the people that hired the Masters of Disaster, was that their name? Yeah.
Yes.
Was the parents of the woman that he accidentally got killed. So they want revenge so bad they hired a bunch of supervillains.
So we finally get a story on like how exactly the girl died.
That is long-term storytelling right there. You plant the seed in issue 2, you pay it off in issue 10.
Yeah, that's planning.
That's the sign of a good book.
Yeah, it leaves you wondering, like, how did this happen? What happened? Oh.
Now, this issue, I mean, obviously they're going to go rescue Black Lightning, but the significant point of this issue is the appearance of an alter ego that Bruce Wayne uses all the fucking time.
Yep.
Matches Malone.
Matches Malone.
If you watched Batman the Animated Series, you saw Matches Malone. It's an old mobster identity that Bruce uses from time to time, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna fucking get a Matches Malone suit. I'm gonna wear it for Halloween.
The red jacket, the sunglasses indoors, the little mustache.
The striped shirt.
The attitude.
The shades.
The man. This is the way that they figured out that the mob knew what was going on. And that's how they find Black Lightning is Matches Malone says he wants to watch Black Lightning die.
And just drops a big ass wad of cash in front of this mobster.
You know what happens next? They all come together and kick some ass. Outsider style.
They do, except Halo actually almost fucking dies.
And how many times can Halo like stress herself to the point where her powers start to fail her?
Every issue.
Every issue, it's like, damn it, Halo, what are you doing?
Isn't that Batman's like catchphrase in this
pretty much?
Show,
it's like
comic.
It's like, damn it, why can't you do what I want you to do? And why aren't your powers working?
Yeah, how dare you?
Also, Cold Snap. He literally snaps to shoot his ice powers. Because he's like shooting ice at Batman and it says, snap, snap. And Batman just like jumps over him and karate chops him. He's like, fuck you.
He's fucking a slam poet over here. Just
paid by the mob. Money to kill. Friends using racist terms that kind of worry me.
West Side Story style. Just
so it's the typical Outsiders moment where it's like they get their asses handed to them the first time, and then the second time they're like, wait a second, I know how to fight these bastards. And they take him out.
Yeah. And the mother takes a shot of Fire Blast for Black Lightning and is like, don't feel bad because I don't blame you for Trina's death anymore.
And that came out of left fucking field.
Yeah, it really did.
All of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, don't kill this man I paid you money to kill. What the actual hell is going on?
A lot of things. And then
And that leads us to Black Lightning's like, hey, life is good now. And that leads us to the mysterious stranger who's arrived in Gotham City. We're going two-parter right here. I was worried that these two parts would end on a cliffhanger again. Sword of Ancient Death, Part 1, issue number 11. Let's fucking go.
Also, I didn't pay attention to this. Didn't Katana have longer hair whenever this series started?
Let me
I
jump
feel
on
like
my
she
phone.
had longer hair. That could just be me, but I feel like she didn't have the bob haircut. Let's just take a peeksy doodle at this previous. Yeah, she definitely had longer hair at the beginning of the series.
Let's see here.
I couldn't tell you when it changed, but
Yeah, issue 2, it's at least past her shoulders, and now it's like
a bob.
a bob. So
Did not notice that.
Sword of Ancient Death starts out with Geoforce and Katana just whipping some ass. They're just like, they're about to get mugged, and they fuck up 4 or 5 guys just for funsies.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be like when you got mugged, there was only like a 75% chance of you getting your ass kicked by Batman. Now there's like a 90% chance that you're just going to get your ass kicked by somebody with fucking martial arts training.
Martial arts training, or the guy with earth-based powers.
Yeah.
Like, there's that was just like that was like, what the hell? And then like the out of nowhere, let's get Halo a cat.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, a cute blonde girl with a cute cat. People will love it.
So we get more of Katana talking to her sword, and then a ninja shows up to do battle with Katana. And then we get a battle. We get Halo trying to use her powers and not knowing which one to use. And Katana's sword gets stolen. She's got to get it back. We got a little subplot of Black Lightning being more confident in school and not taking shit from anybody. And then
I think we initially glazed over it. Whenever the first time we saw him teaching, he like wanted to punch the shit out of this kid, and then was like, "Oh no, I'm too scared." And now he's just like, "Oh, you threw this coke at me? Let me just dump it on your boombox, you shit kid."
Yeah, and it's just like, fuck you. And meanwhile, in school, Halo has a crush on a man with a wonderful name.
Oh, it is. I thought you'd catch that too.
I did. I was like, you have got
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. There's no shame. Phil Collins, who looks like he's 28. He looks like Burt Reynolds without the mustache.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
And he's just like, hey, ladies, I'm a high schooler. There must be more to Phil Collins. There's got to be.
There's got to be. They introduce a boy interest for the teenage character. There's got to be more.
And she's totally just like, she's giving this kid shit for like wanting to copy off her homework, but Phil Collins rolls in and she's like, you do want to copy my homework? Phil Collins?
And then after that, Halo comes home. She's super excited that she has a date, only to find that Tatsu has left.
But this is Batman and the Outsiders, so the second that Katana shows up to her hotel, here are the Outsiders in full gear, waiting on her.
Literally next page.
And Metamorpho is taking the form of a chair.
And that's where my joke comes in of me saying I'm pretty sure he just wants her to sit on his face.
This one gets a little weird too, because there's not just one person in that sword talking to Katana this entire time.
It's 5.
It's 5 people. And so we get Katana's origin. Not only does she carry around a sword that had her dead husband in it, but it's also got these other spirits in it.
It's got shuriken, nunchaku, blow dart, and Anthor stone axe.
Anthor stone axe is my favorite.
Yeah, he came out of left field in comparison to the other 3.
Yeah, it's just kind of throw they throw that last one and they're like, guess what? So we're moving on to issue number 12, The Truth About Katana Part 2. The one thing that stood out to me in the very beginning, besides the fact that Batman loves Tokyo, Jim Aparo is doing the lettering.
Yeah, he is.
So Mike Barr is the editor and the writer. They're listed as co-creators. Jim Aparo is usually listed as the artist. So we've got a guest inker because I guess he had to pull lettering duty. This man is a beast.
This man is a beast. He did all of it, and man, I still every time I love this art. Love this art.
Yeah. I just saw the giant phone on the first page, and I thought it was Metamorpho. But it's just...
No, see, you've made a critical error. There's no weird fucking face on it.
Yeah, that's what because I saw Batman pose, and I didn't know that he was standing on a giant phone on top of a building, and I was like, Metamorpho, god damn it.
And then you realize, oh, it's not.
It's not, but...
And then Batman breaks into the 45th floor because nobody expects you to break into the 45th floor, so the window is always unlocked.
So this is just a back and forth battle between all the spirits that were in Katana's sword. The origin story, man, that hurts.
Yeah, it does. It's real sad.
She picks one brother, the other brother is
Yakuza.
Yeah. He joins up after she spurns his affection. So he gets in deep. She has kids. And then the goddamn brother comes in and kills everybody.
With a blade made by Masamune. And it traps the husband's soul within the sword.
And so that's the origin of Katana because of her bastard-ass brother-in-law.
Yeah, she lost her husband. Sort of, like, at least she could talk to him, but her kids burned in a fucking fire. That will mess you up for life.
That's gonna make you want to be a killer, yeah.
Yeah, I would. I'm pretty sure I'd be a bloodthirsty killer after that.
So there's a lot of fighting.
The backstory though is just so sad.
There's some sort of mob backstory that I kind of glossed over.
Yeah,
but needless to say, Katana gets her revenge. She kills the brother-in-law. Was the dude's name Blowdart?
One of the guys' names is Blowdart.
Blowdart hits Batman with a blow dart, and it poisons him because in the epilogue, they're flying back because Batman can't trust anyone to fly them. So he's flying the plane back to Gotham, and the blow dart poison takes over, and he passes out. And there is no antidote, says Katana. So... the storyline is ended, but I've left us on yet another cliffhanger because here lies Bruce Wayne dying, and there's just a little hype for the next issue, the first anniversary.
We're really good so far at always ending these on cliffhangers.
I mean, I think that's the appeal of a good book.
I mean, yeah, it is. It makes you come back for more because you're like, oh no, what happened to Batman? Will he be okay? He's always okay.
One storyline ends, but you're progressing the next one. And I don't know about you, but I'm always ready for more.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I'm willing to read every single one of these.
We might as well. We
also have a 42-page annual book to talk about as well.
Yeah, I read it.
Which I'm still not sure where exactly that falls.
He was talking about being poisoned, so I'm sure that it happens probably after 12 or 13.
I'm going to guess 13.
Well, let's see. 5/2/84 is when 12 came out. But there's a mention of Judas Contract. Oh, this is 1/4/84. What the hell?
Yeah, this is interesting because I just clicked onto the next book. Literally, it has Batman like dying on the front cover, and it just says, fan out, we gotta find the Batman before it's too late.
It has to happen after 13 because Geoforce's costume changes in the annual.
Oh, and even the front cover that says their first anniversary may be their last.
So I'm going to say that after 13, you would read the annual, and then we come back to 14. And which is, by the way, here's a little tease for you. It's set at the Olympics. And for
it is.
For those who weren't born in the 80s, The 84 Olympics took place in Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
Soviet boycott, US just owned it. So I'm still giving this book a huge thumbs up. There are moments where I'm like, what the fuck? But not enough for me to give this book a thumbs down. Like, I encourage people to read along and join us on this adventure.
Absolutely. These are books worth reading easily. And you have to read that Christmas episode. Because, oh my God, dude, it is such... That is a trip and a half, and you will think that we're on LSD if you don't read it for yourself.
Evil baby, Tanarak, evil babies, all caps.
Oh my God. That really is like the whole freaking thing. That is all of your notes for that comic.
I mean, there's a couple of lines, but those are the main two. It's just evil babies. We're trying not to go too deep on these because I know people have lives and they don't really want to hear an hour and a half on 6 issues of Batman and the Outsiders, but
you never know, man.
Stay tuned. If you want more deep dives on Batman and the Outsiders, oh man, I'm just scrolling through and I'm looking to see when Aparo leaves. Like 21?
Well, in 13, he's only in charge of the covers. He doesn't do the inks or the pencils at all.
Well, he's on the credits until 22, and then Alan Davis takes over. I'm not gonna be mad at that because I like some Alan Davis.
I'm sure I've seen Alan Davis without realizing who it was because I'm terrible with names. And I just saw that Adventures of the Outsiders issue number 35. I'm pretty sure has Hitler on the front cover.
Scrolling. That's either Hitler or oh God, that's called Sympathy for the Fuhrer. I was like, that's either that evil baby or that's Hitler, but that's goddamn Hitler.
That is Hitler.
We've got so much to read. This is a trip.
This is this is a trip and a half. I really want to know why the hell Hitler's in a 1986 comic.
All right, we're definitely coming back to this. I've decided that we're gonna stop announcing what we're reading on here. We're just gonna put it on Instagram because I was like, next episode's gonna be Grifter, and then here we are, Batman and the Outsiders. So that's it.
That is it, but not the end.
Not the end. To be continued. Batman and the Outsiders. This is next 6. We're coming back sometime about something. I'm Post-Crisis Jarrod.
I'm Dr. Devin.
Trent's somewhere. We made him leave the room.
I told you, he's dead.
Anyway, you've been listening to Punch the Timeline. Have a pleasant day.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to Punch the Timeline. You can find us on Instagram at Punch the Timeline. You can find us on Twitter at Timeline Punch. Jarrod can be found at Grumpy Old Jarrod on Twitter. And Devin can be found on pretty much everything as Good Guesswork. Once again, Scumbag XX has no social media. Thanks again for listening to Punch the Timeline.
You were very upset. You sent me a series of very angry texts on Friday.
Oh, I was just like, I had everything, and I was like, and I'm gonna listen to it one last time, and it was just like, oh no, the edit is off, and I had to re-edit it, and I was just like, fuck this stupid thing.
The damn episode of Batman and the Outsiders has been published. I never want to talk about it again. Fuck. As an editing tool, I'm going to go celebrate my accomplishment with some Californication. Is the exact text that you sent me.
Yeah, and so that guy saying that he appreciated the episode really made up for all the work I had to do.